Hi, my name is David Schnider. Welcome to the Nolan Hyman Look Legal Metaverse podcast. Today on the podcast, I have Amber Bezahler, who is the co-founder and co-CEO of Muus Collective, which is a mobile gaming studio with a focus on digital fashion. Amber, welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. Really appreciate the invitation.
So I tend to start with the same question for most of my guests. I'm going to subject you to the same question. How do you describe the metaverse?
Well, I define it in multiple ways because I look at it both as a builder and a consumer of the experience. And I see it through different lenses. So the first one is technological, where I see it as an immersive, highly interactive experience with a sensory-rich environment. So think about it exemplified by like virtual and augmented reality. You can think about it economically, where it's a digital economy where users can buy and sell and trade virtual goods and services. So things like NFTs, virtual real estate, in-game assets. Of course, there's the educational side of it. There's immense opportunities for interactive learning and exploration, virtual classrooms, historical reconstructions, immersive educational experiences. But at the end of the day, what I think is most relevant are the social and cultural aspects. I see it as a platform for social interaction and community building, a place that empowers people to connect, to collaborate, and build like-minded collectives in virtual spaces. And so experiences like Roblox and Fortnite for me really stand out because culturally it allows for new forms of self-expression and the creation of digital identities through avatars and virtual fashion and art. And then to make this an even more complex response, I see the metaverse across three timeline horizons, both near, mid, and long term. So we're in kind of the near model, and currently, and you and I have discussed this in the past, it's quite fragmented. You have platforms like we just talked about, Roblox, Fortnite, Decentraland, Meta's Horizon Worlds, et cetera. And each has its own ecosystem with quite limited interoperability. And the platforms essentially operate in silos, and typically users can't transfer assets, avatars, or experiences seamlessly from one to the other. So that's kind of the current state of where we're at. I think midterm, even though we have these significant technological hurdles like standardization and interoperability to overcome, I think the industry is going to move towards more interconnected, separate metaverses where different platforms communicate and share certain assets and experiences while maintaining unique identities and user bases. So for the people experiencing it, the users will move their avatars and digital assets between these platforms using the blockchain to verify ownership, provenance, authenticity. And then long term is where it gets really murky, the crystal ball. I think a lot of people have the vision of a unified metaverse as we saw depicted in Ready Player One, where it's like users can access a single cohesive virtual world and it has seamless transition between like shopping and gaming and socializing and learning. And it would be super cool, but not only would we have to overcome significant technical, economic, and regulatory challenges, but I don't think I'm a proponent of it because history has shown whenever there's a monopoly or one controlling entity, it often isn't to the benefit of the public. I think it could lead to issues of control and inequality that you see in the real world, which is the whole thing the metaverse is trying to do is overcome some of the real world issues that we have. And I will end this long rant on a controversial statement, which is I think that many games are actually metaverse experiences and the lines are blurring more and more. And again, I'll just go back to Fortnite and Roblox because I previously used them as examples. To me, they're not just games, they are metaverses where users shop, socialize, attend events, and express their digital identities.
Yeah, is that what you think distinguishes just a standard game from something you might call a metaversal experience?
I do. And I think that, again, it's very blurry, but when you have deep social connectivity, when you have the ability to transact, and when someone has the opportunity for authentic self-expression, to me, that starts to move it into that realm.
You mentioned Ready Player One, and I think a lot of people have this idea in their head of the metaverse as a purely 3D experience. But the examples you're giving, I think, are not limited to that. Do you see it as purely a 3D experience or something different?
I believe it can be both 2 or 3D. Obviously, 3D offers immersive and interactive environments, which is way more interesting. I haven't really encountered many 2D examples. The one that comes to mind is the early versions of Habbo Hotel, which I was a big fan of. And
Yeah,
what I
that
like
was new to me. So explain what that is.
it kind of had the sensibility of The Sims, but it was this virtual environment that was 2D where people could interact at the Habbo Hotel, and it was a game that was really wonderful. And what I like about the idea of 2D or the notion is that it provides accessibility and ease of use for people who might not have devices that allow for 3D rendering capabilities. And so again, like to democratize the experience, that's great. But of course, as technology advanced, maybe 3D rendering becomes less of a barrier for entry. And then I think there's this really interesting trend where you're seeing platforms blend 3D elements into the 2D experience. So social media platforms are using AR filters to enhance what is primarily a 2D interface with these 3D elements to try to have that sensibility.
I want to ask you to elaborate on one of the things you said. You were talking about Fortnite and Roblox and how they're not just games. And so my introduction to Fortnite was watching my kids play an open world game. But I think it's much more than that. And so can you talk a little bit about how those platforms are more than just games?
Yeah, I think ultimately social interaction is the foundation of the metaverse. So, anywhere where users can meet, communicate, collaborate, build communities, regardless of the visual format or what we call them, how we label them, to me, that is a metaverse. And its beauty and the potential lies in its ability to cater to diverse user needs, tech capabilities, really like a multifaceted concept of providing meaningful, engaging experiences for everyone.
So things like I've heard examples of people going to concerts in Fortnite, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And there are platforms like Wave that are just concert platforms that are virtual performances, which is really cool.
So tell me about Muus Collective and what you guys are doing.
Thank you for asking, David. I'm the co founder and co CEO of Muus Collective, and we're a mobile gaming studio building fashion centric, Web3 enabled mobile games that seamlessly integrate e commerce. Our first title is a mobile fashion styling game that is currently in beta, and we have plans to go worldwide very soon. And we have a strategic partnership with next generation retailer Revolve, and that allows us to give our players virtual access to amazing styles and the ability to shop real world brands. And they also have the option to seamlessly buy products IRL in game. So we're really excited about it.
In your app, will users be able to build their own styles and share those styles with each other and interact around their own designs?
Yeah, so players are given thematic fashion challenges with certain essential requirements, and they build wonderful looks that they share with the community for appreciation. And anyone who is inspired by either something they've created or something they've seen from another stylist can shop at Real World if they so desire.
So how did you guys decide to focus on fashion?
It's a great question. We believe there's a huge opportunity to open up new avenues for creativity and self expression within fashion, beauty, and gaming. Gaming is the most prevalent and it's the fastest growing form of media on the planet. There's an organization called Global Data, and they predict that the gaming industry is going to be worth $470 billion by 2030. And we've seen that the top mobile fashion titles have grossed just under $2 billion in lifetime revenue. So we believe that we can deliver so much more than the current platforms are delivering through creativity, representation, and of course, ownership. There's also a really interesting study through a collaboration between Business of Fashion and McKinsey. It's called Opportunity in Digital Fashion and Avatars. And they found that 27% of millennials have already purchased virtual fashion in order to like bolster their digital profiles and try styles they wouldn't maybe wear in the physical world or before they would actually explore that, and just to participate more sustainably in fashion. So we think digital fashion really provides an opportunity for brands to grow and scale their businesses in a more efficient, more sustainable way. And our long-term goal is ultimately to popularize the notion of a digital wardrobe to the point that allows consumers to be more conscious about their consumption while still allowing for limitless creative expression.
So that resonates with me because when you talk about younger consumers and digital fashion, I often refer to my kids, and really, I think their kids would be more so as being digital first.
Yeah.
To me, I'm used to interacting with people. I'll do some stuff online, but to them, their friends are online. The things they do are often online, and it's a more natural fit. I think we'll see more and more kids getting involved in digital fashion and digital self-expression as this becomes more the norm.
Absolutely. To that point, there's a Roblox 2023 Digital Expressions Fashion and Beauty Trends report. And digital fashion and avatar styling are super hot topics. And these stats blow my mind. 56% of respondents find styling their avatar more important than styling themselves in the physical world. Like,
That's
just sit
amazing.
with that for a moment. That's just crazy and awesome. And 84% of them said their physical style is inspired by their avatars. And nearly 1.6 billion digital fashion items were purchased on Roblox in the first 3 quarters of 2023. So this shows that digital self-expression significantly influences real-world fashion choices, but also just like how the way in which people perceive identity and how they express themselves creatively is completely shifting.
I think that's one of the key differentiators with the metaverse. I think about with traditional games, you had a sort of a nondescript avatar so that any player could be the character. That changed a little bit with multiplayer gaming, where people started to actually customize their avatars to have a particular look in the game. But the metaverse really takes it to a whole new level because the user customization is really how they present themselves to other people. And there's really much more of a building of identity in the metaverse. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how players build identity through their avatars.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I love most about the metaverse and gaming is that you can endlessly express yourself, changing your identity like based on mood, and it doesn't have to reflect your real world physical appearance if you wish. So there are a couple of examples that come to mind because I know your listeners like really concrete examples so they can go check it out. Roblox has AI tool that converts 3D models into avatars. It really expedites that process and that promotes self-expression through personalized digital fashion. Fortnite is one of my favorite examples, the way users can purchase and equip different skins, emotes, accessories. Blueberry, which was previously called House of Blueberry, they have a digital fashion collection on Snapchat Bitmoji that showcases how digital identities can be enriched with virtual fashion. Decentraland allows users to buy, sell, and trade virtual real estate and in-game assets. So, it goes just beyond the physical appearance, but like how you identify your persona and the things that are attached to you that have importance. And then my favorite part of it is the opportunity for inclusivity and representation. So Dove has done a beautiful job of promoting body positivity in the metaverse, and it really shows how a brand can influence digital identities by encouraging self-esteem and realistic body representation, both in real world and physical spaces.
Those are good examples of the platforms and how they enable self-expression. Let's talk about the exploration of digital identity and self-expression in the metaverse through the lens of gaming. Can you talk about some examples of where you've seen that done well?
Absolutely. Going back to Fortnite, there are different collabs that have been done with different artists, mostly musical artists, where players can adopt these iconic looks and performances. One of them is Ariana Grande, and just love it. Enhances their digital self-expression. Probably the most well-known example is The Sims 4, and they've really done a great job of promoting inclusivity and self-expression. And an example of that is they've added vitiligo skin details in partnership with a fashion model named Winnie Harlow. And then you have Animal Crossing that has done tons of cool collabs, but the New Horizons version offers a really wide range of customization options. And the interesting parts are like not only diverse skin tones, but hairstyles and cultural outfits. So it's really authentic and allows the player to reflect their real world identities in the game. And the notion of representation is so crucial for inclusivity, and hair is such an important part of that. So Dove conducted a study that 8 in 10 gamers felt excluded or not good enough due to the poor portrayals of textured hair in game, which is it's really sad. And when they tried to unearth what was the reason for that, it wasn't because developers didn't want to accurately reflect it. It was just the cost of resources for developing different hairstyles. And small teams, often startups, struggle to portray this. So there's an amazing initiative called Code My Crown that is so important. It's been developed in collaboration with a team of Black game developers and a wonderful hairstylist. And it provides step-by-step coding instructions for accurately creating a variety of textured styles while educating the developers about the historical context and cultural impact of the styles.
So that's on the user side. I think the metaverse also offers a lot of opportunities for brands. And I'm curious what you think about that, how brands can take advantage of the metaverse.
Yeah. So when developing a metaverse strategy, brands should really think about how to integrate immersive experiences, digital collectibles, AI-driven personalization, of course. But the more important thing is how to do that natively and authentically. So I'll give a really concrete example, one that I have given in the past and I love, which is Alo's Roblox Alo Sanctuary experience. And it ticks a lot of the boxes for me. The first is it a unique concept and does it provide utility? And it's check, yes, it does. So the Alo Sanctuary offered this really unique utility with a virtual meditation space where users could go in and unwind. So utility and also concept is unique because most of the experiences on Roblox were high energy. And this is kind of a wind down, relax, get back in touch with yourself. So there was novelty to it. The second question is, does it align with the brand identity? And this is like a strong checkbox, yes, because the experience emphasized mindfulness, wellness, a healthy lifestyle, which is completely in keeping with Alo's brand. The third, and this one's really hard, is does it sustain engagement? And unlike many of the brand collabs on metaverse platforms, they often see like an initial spike in engagement and then it's followed by drop off. And that's okay. I mean, sometimes it can be a quick hit, but Alo really succeeded here because they managed to sustain interest over time. And why that happened, I believe, is because they checked the fourth box of integration of social elements. So the experience not only provided a space for individual relaxation, but it combined the benefits of mindfulness with social connectivity. And the idea that you could unwind, but you could also be amongst like-minded people and share experiences, that was what was really, really powerful. And so that's the one that stands out most for me. There are a whole bunch of others. And again, in the interest of giving people some cool things to check out, and Balenciaga and Fortnite did such a cool collab that kind of kicked off all the skins, but like the limited edition physical merchandise with the avatar virtual skins. Burberry partnered with Mythical Games on an NFT collection, which was the Blanco's Block Party. And that was unique digital accessories and in-game wearables. Ralph Lauren has partnered with Zapato for virtual clothing and interactive experiences, and they did a virtual holiday themed winter wonderland, which was really cool. Dior just did a VR fashion show where they allowed audiences to experience the latest collection in an immersive virtual environment. And then you have so many others like Animal Crossing has basically collaborated with everyone, Tommy Hilfiger, Marc Jacobs. They're all kind of these virtual fashion collections that really allow people to express themselves in game. Dolce & Gabbana did a NFT collection that is so cool, and it features digital wearables with also physical couture pieces. And then you have much beloved brands like Barbie getting in with collabs with Balmain, where they created digital and physical collections, that combines high fashion and like this iconic, much loved. So, I mean, there are like hundreds and hundreds of examples, but those are some of the ones that come to mind.
Yeah, I think one of the key points you made is that brands have to present authentically, and that if they're going to be activating in the metaverse, doing collaborations, putting together games, anything like that, they need to find ways to present their brand that are meaningful to consumers, but also reflect the values of the brand and add something to it. Do you have thoughts on if brands want to get more involved in the metaverse, how they can do that?
Absolutely. First one is to keep the experience as native as possible to the platform itself. And when possible, partner with creators on the platform that can help bring the experience to life. People who are known entities that users, players already know and love, and then make it approachable. So, a couple of examples. Carolina Herrera worked with Roblox to bring their items to life inside the game, and they did that in concert with a really popular creator on the platform. So that's how they went to market. It was really successful. And then Prada worked with Candy Crush to give away perfume samples. And it was just such a great experience because it aligned really well. The perfume is called Candy, so it aligned thematically. But it's just really cool that you could have like a tangible, real world outcome from playing the game, and then getting a sample that, surprise and delight moment really increased the likelihood of purchase. And they had a lot of great sell through and lift on the product after doing that collab.
A lot of brands have tried different things in the metaverse, although I don't think anything has really been a huge success yet. There's still a lot of experimentation. What do you see as the future? Where are brands going on the metaverse?
Experiential retail, I think, is one of the main areas where brands can offer kind of that virtual experience that resonates and drive engagement. There are a couple of different reasons for this. I mean, from the brand side, they have deep sustainability considerations. Supply chains getting more and more complex and broken. And so the ability to allow people to have a meaningful try before you buy experience where they can make a better informed decision is immense. Also, these platforms provide incredible amounts of data. So from an analytics perspective, you could start to see trends about certain styles and better understand consumer purchase propensity and where people might want to invest their real world dollars. So that's on the brand side. And then on the user side, it is so much more enjoyable when you can create an avatar that looks very similar to you and equip it with things that make you feel great and have an experience, and then think, wow, that brings me joy. I think I really like that in the real world. And then alternatively, if you want to do something fantastical, wear something that you could never wear in the real life because it's gravity defying, or you don't have wings or something, but it allows for self-expression. But it could still be tied to a brand to have a moment that is really special and unique and is memorable. So I think that's where it's going, where it's much more like seamlessly integrated e-commerce, but in these moments of like surprise, delight, joy with the brand being part of that experience. Some of the things that come to mind that are done well are Coachella did a Fortnite takeover and they created virtual fashion mirroring the physical event. L'Oreal has done a cool collab with Snap. Walmart is bringing AR for virtual try-on in their stores. Revive has a Match My Look tool that uses AI and augmented reality to recommend beauty products based on images that enhances the customer experience. And it goes on and on. But those types of things are additive and they don't detract from the experience. They're not crass tactics. They definitely add to the experience.
I've got one more question for you, and I think in some sense you've already answered it. But the question is, do you think that the metaverse is a trend or that it is something that is here to stay and will be a fundamental part of our experience in the future?
I definitely think it's here to stay. I feel like we've had a seismic shift culturally in how we think about ourselves and how we interact with one another. And the acceleration of technology, the inevitability of AI, the way real world experiences can be challenging, especially as we have socioeconomical, geopolitical pressures in the world. I think we all take refuge sometimes in our virtual worlds. And I can only see that trend increasing because it democratizes the experience in many ways and allows for everyone to have an ability to express themselves authentically, to have agency, and to have fun experiences.
I think you're probably right, but I guess time will tell. I appreciate you coming on. Let people know if they want to learn more about you or about Muus Collective, where they can get more information.
Absolutely. You can visit our website at muuscollective.com, which is spelled MUUS collective.com.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate your insights.
Thank you, David. I really appreciate it.